Hey there everybody, just doing a review for this Ampere Time 100 amp hour battery. This is a deep cycle lithium iron phosphate battery, not a lithium ion battery or a lead acid battery. With a lithium iron phosphate battery, you're going to be getting a lot more charge cycles. In this case, you're going to be getting about 4,000 charge cycles. And in case you're wondering, in terms of watt hours, all you have to do is just multiply the volts times the amp hours. So I mean, this is a 12.8 volt battery along with 100 amp hours. So you're going to be doing a 12.8 times 100, and that's going to give you 1,280 watt hours. So yeah, I mean 1,280 watt hours. This is where like deep cycle batteries like this excel the most. I mean 1,280 watt hours is a lot of power capacity, right? And you know, when it comes to power stations like the EcoFlow DELTA 2 that I have right over there, if you consider a power station to have 1,280 watt hours, that's going to be an expensive power station. But in this case, you're going to be spending a lot less. I think this goes for like 350. I don't know. I'll double check that in this review. Yeah, I mean, so you're just getting the battery, but the capacity comes at a very low price when it comes to choosing these type of batteries. And you know, I'm pretty excited about reviewing this because you can actually do a lot with these type of deep cycle batteries when it comes to powering appliances. So what's included in the box, you get a bunch of paperwork, and I actually really like that they included a bunch of paperwork. Honestly, you know, it just tells you a bit about the company, a bit about what other products they have. You of course get the manual. This manual is so helpful. You're definitely going to want to read the manual before you start using this battery. I've been using it for quite a bit, for a few days, and this manual did come in handy. It just tells you a few more tidbits of information in case you want to learn more about how to use the battery. I definitely recommend reading through this. You know, just gives you a few pointers of what to do and what not to do. And yeah, it just shows how people are using the batteries as well, right over there. And it all comes in this like folder right over here. And also in the box, you do get these post bolts that you screw in to the negative and positive terminals on the battery. It did come with 4 post bolts. I already screwed in 2 of them already because I've been using the battery for quite a few days, you know, just to test it out, just to become familiar with it. So yeah, but yeah, you get 2 extra post bolts right over there. These were like the caps that came on the battery, just like that. These are the these are the terminal covers that you can place on the battery when you're not using it. You know, just good to have. And so yeah, I mean, a 1,280 watt hour capacity. I mean, let me just slide it to the other side real quick. Yeah, 1,280 watt hours, 12.8 volts, 100 amp hours. You just multiply these 2 numbers right over here to get this number. And so it is a pretty decent sized battery. I think it has like a 13 by 8.4 by 6.7 form factor, and it weighs 24 pounds, you guys. So yeah, I mean, a pretty I mean, is it large? Yeah, I mean, I suppose it's large, but you know, the main thing is that it's heavy. It's 24 pounds. It does have a handle at the top that you can actually easily remove. I can probably just remove it right now while making this video, I think. Okay, it's easy to remove, you guys. Okay, that's all you need to know. All you need to do is just just shimmy this, and it pops right out when you like put this piece through here. And yeah, it's really easy to remove the handle and put it back. When it comes to the power usage of this battery, it's capable of outputting 1,280 watts, same as the capacity, and you can input 1,280 watts as well. And you know, what the first thing I'm probably gonna do is I wanna run a battery capacity test to see how much of the capacity that we can actually pull out from this Ampere Time 100 amp hour battery. So yeah, let me just get it charged up all the way, and I'm gonna get a MakerHawk load tester to test out how much capacity we can actually use. From what I've seen with other reviews, you can actually use 100% of the capacity that comes in this battery. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm gonna do my own test in this review, but also I do have the battery. Oh, also I forgot to mention, this is the box that the battery comes in. A pretty plain box, but yeah, that's whatever. Yeah, when you're buying the battery alone, it does not come with a battery charger. So I did mention that, you know, going with a deep cycle battery like this is a lot cheaper than going with a power station, and that's true. You know, 1,280 watt hours is gonna be about like $1,000 when it comes to buying a 1,280 watt hour power station. But you know, this is like about 350. But you also have to add on the cost of a battery charger and also an inverter to actually pull power from this battery. And so what I've got over here is this Ampere Time. Let me see, what is it? This is a 14.6 volt 10 amp battery. So that's going to be, you just multiply this by this. I think that's going to give you about 146 watts of input charging power to this battery. Going from 0 to 100% when recharging this, you're going to be looking at probably about 10 to 12 hours of recharge time. However, the good thing is that you can actually go with faster battery chargers that you can find over on Ampere.com or on Amazon. You don't have to go with Ampere Time battery chargers, but I just recommend it because, just match brands, just make sure that the battery charger actually works. But yeah, this is a 146 charger, as I said before, and all you have to do is just plug this cable into the wall outlet right over here, and you just put these clamps on the negative and positive terminals. And I don't know why I'm explaining it right now. I'm going to show you guys as well. So yeah, let's just get to recharging it, and then I'm going to do a load test, and yeah, we'll be right back. Alright guys, so when it comes to recharging this Ampere Time battery, it's really easy. All you have to do with the battery charger is plug it into the wall outlet and connect these clamps to the correct post bolts right over here. So yeah, positive goes to positive. You can either orient them vertically or horizontally. Oh my god, what's happening here? Okay, yeah, you can either orient them vertically like this or horizontally. I recommend horizontally because you just have an easier time placing them on the battery bolts right over here. So yeah, just like that. And when the battery isn't charging, the light is green, but when the battery does start charging, the light turns red on the battery charger, as you just saw probably from the reflection right over there. And yeah, there we go. Battery charger clamps are on, and the battery is charging, as you can see from that red light right there. And when the battery is fully recharged and the clamps are on the battery, when this light turns green, that means the battery is fully recharged. And so yeah, we're gonna wait until the battery is fully recharged, and then we're gonna do a battery capacity test using a MakerHawk load tester. And as you can see right there, let me just turn that on. 129 watts. It does go up in wattage. It just takes some time, but I know this is a 145 watt, 146 watt battery charger. Ampere Time also sells I think a 480 watt battery charger for this battery as well. Of course, that is more expensive because with this 145 watt battery charger, you're going to be looking at a 10 to 12 hour recharge time going from 0 to 100%. A 480 watt battery charger is going to be a lot faster. You're going to be able to get a full recharge probably in about 3 to 5 hours, I'd say. But yeah, as you can see, that is the wattage being input into the battery right over here. Yeah, we'll just wait until it reaches full power, and we'll be right back. And all right, and we're back with the battery fully recharged. As you can see, the clamps are still on the battery, but now the light is green, indicating that the battery is fully recharged. And also, you can see on this electricity monitor right over here, the output has dropped to just 1 watt. And so yeah, there we go. That's how you know the battery is fully recharged. Would it have been nice to have a screen on the battery displaying the capacity percentage? Yes, but that would have had its cost. And that's what you get when you go with the deep cycle battery like this. And I think it's all right. And yeah, with that said, let's get to load testing this Ampere Time battery. Alright you guys, so I did start the battery capacity test using this load tester. Well, it's been started for a few minutes at this point. I did recharge the battery back to full power, otherwise it wouldn't have made sense to do this capacity test in the first place. But I did set the load tester to about 145 watts or 146 watts. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it on overnight to see how many watt hours we're able to pull from this battery. It's going to be fully discharged, so we're looking to deplete the capacity of this Ampere Time battery all the way down to 0%. And so yeah, I'm going to keep it on overnight, and we'll be right back to see how many watt hours we're actually able to pull from a 1280 watt hour deep cycle lithium iron phosphate battery. Be right back. Alright you guys, so here we are 7 hours later, and I did find the load tester turned off when I got back. I don't know if that's because the battery ran out of battery capacity, or it might have been something with the load tester. But anyways, I did turn on the load tester again just to squeeze out any more capacity from the battery, because I have no idea why it turned off. I think it should have been higher than 1031 watt hours that you can see right there. Anyways, I'm going to keep it on and we'll see what happens. If it turns off again, I'm just going to consider it depleted of its capacity. But yeah, we'll be right back. Alright you guys, so I think the load test is completely done now with the battery capacity being fully depleted. And so what ended up happening is that we got a 11 hour and 40-minute runtime, and a 1691 watt hour reading, and a 104 amp hour reading, as you can see right there. And I think I did mess up a little bit because I set the voltage to 16 when I probably should have set the voltage to 12, because this is a 12.8 volt battery. I'm not too sure if that had anything to do with the load testing being messed up or not, but the 104 amp hour reading does match up to the 100 amp hour reading on the battery right there. So I think we were able to use 100% of this battery capacity, but I will be doing another test a second time around using the same load tester, but I'm going to set the voltage to 12 with a separate video, because I just want to make sure that I did it right. I'm not too sure if I did this load test correctly, but I think we're able to use 100% of the battery capacity from this Ampere Time battery. So that's good, but I will be doing another video test. But with that said, I'm going to get this battery charged up back to 100%. And we're going to be testing it out with a Renergie 2000 watt inverter right over here to use appliances with. So I'm going to show you what you can actually use a battery like this with and how you can use it. And so yeah, let me get this charged up, and we'll be right back. Alright, you guys, so when it comes to actually using batteries like this, you do need a inverter if you plan on powering appliances. So in this case, I do have a 2000 watt Renergie inverter, and so all you have to do, I already done quite a bit of the work already. So all I did was connect these terminal cables right over here to the positive and negative ends on the inverter. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to screw out these post bolts right over here, and then I'm going to place these terminal ends on the positive and negatives. Just make sure that they match up, and then by doing so, this inverter will be powered and ready to use. As I mentioned before, this battery is only capable of outputting 1280 watts, and this is a 2000 watt inverter. You don't have to go with a 2000 watt inverter. You don't have to buy this. If you want to make sure that you're getting the most wattage out of the battery, you can go with like a 1200 watt inverter or like a 1000 watt inverter, maybe a 1500 watt. That's another part why it's great to use these type of batteries. It's like that modularity that you get, that freedom of choice that you can choose. You can go with a 500 watt inverter. Of course, higher wattage inverters are more expensive. Just know that. As I said before, there are three things that you should consider. Well, two other things that you should consider when buying a deep cycle battery like this. You have to get a battery charger and also an inverter. For powering appliances and for recharging the battery right over there. There you have it. Let me just get this inverter connected to the battery. And the reason why I have this 2000 watt inverter in the first place is because I'm doing like a few tests with this battery right over here. We're just gonna push it to its limit just to see what we can pull out from it. See how far we can take it until it like automatically shuts off. Let me get this inverter connected, and I'll be right back. All right. So you know what? I just thought about why not show myself connecting the inverter. So yeah, I'm going to be doing that right here. So I already unscrewed the post bolts right over here. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but I did unscrew them. So what you're going to do is you're going to have the negative terminal cable right over here. I'm not sure if that's what you call these, but anyways, I'm going to place that right there. I'm going to place the post bolt on the cable end, and if it would just actually stay, okay, and then you just screw it on tightly, and yeah, here we go. That is the negative one. However, I recommend wearing goggles when you're doing this, when you're connecting a inverter to a battery, because what happened was, when it was the first time when I was connecting this inverter, and I touched this positive cable to the positive end, there was like a big spark, and it scared me. It only happened the first time though, apparently, from what I've seen on YouTube, because when you touch the positive cable to the positive end on the battery, there's a big spark because it charges up the capacitor in the inverter. So that's what happened, and it was pretty scary because I wasn't expecting it. Okay, and yeah, the two ends are connected right there, as you can see. And so what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to turn on the inverter to see if it actually worked. Yes, it worked, and now we have power to the inverter and we can start using it. And so yeah, let me grab a few appliances to test out with the battery and the inverter because they both go hand in hand, and we're gonna see what we can take out of this battery. Alright, you guys, so I do have a heater connected to the inverter right over here, and as I mentioned before quite a few times, you know, this is just like a power station. Of course, you're missing charging ports, and like, you know, it's a bit more complicated to set this up, because with power station you have everything put together in a single product. But you know, this is another option, because if we're being honest, you're gonna be spending a lot more money with a power station. But, you know, buying these things separately, an inverter, battery charger, and a 1280 watt hour battery is going to be cheaper. So yeah, I mean, we're going to see what we can do with this Ampere Time battery right over here. So yeah, I think it's displaying wattage. Yes, it is. Okay. So, I mean, 1280 watts, that's the max output that we're able to take from this battery. And so yeah, let's see how far we can take it before it turns off. And so yeah, we're going to be turning on this heater right over here. Set it to low first. All right. Oh, wow. Oh, forgot to reset that. Okay, let's reset that now. Okay, there we go. Okay, 864 watts being pulled out from the battery right over there. Let's just kick it up to high and see what happens. And now we've got 1,490 watts of output, and that far exceeds the 1,280 watts. That my cat just scared me. That far exceeds the 1,280 watts that the battery is actually capable of, but it's still running. I don't know if we're actually supposed to be doing this or not. I just felt like doing this because I want to see just what the battery is capable of. And I got my cat over here. Okay. And yeah, you know what? I'm going to leave it like this, and I'm just going to see what happens. Because in this case, 1,400 watts, the battery should be fully depleted within an hour, I think. Or maybe even less than an hour. And, you know, I have the kilowatt hour test running as well, or on this side. And yeah, I'm just going to keep it running and see what happens. All right. All right, you guys. So just a first quick update with the heater test still at high. And so we've currently pulled about 180 watt hours. We started this test with the battery at full, which is 1280 watt hours. So I mean 180 watt hours used of that 1280 watt hours of the Ampere Time battery right over there. Let's check out the input, and we'll check out the output if I can find it. Yeah, 1400 watts going on. Still far exceeding that 1280 watt continuous max output, and still the battery is still chugging along. I don't know if that's the capabilities of this inverter though, or of the battery. And yeah, I don't know if we're actually supposed to be doing this or not, but if it's still going, we'll just keep going. We'll just wait until it shuts off automatically. You know, the goal in this case, I think eventually it just halfway through, I just decided we'll just keep going until the battery is fully depleted. I know we did a load test with the MakerHawk load tester, but why not do a load test using the heater and this electricity monitor? Because this is like a real world test in this case, I suppose. That's what's happening right here. And also, in case you're wondering what's that noise, the fans over the back of the inverter are turned on. And yeah. And so yeah, we'll be right back. Alright, you guys, so just checking back in again. Still got the heater running at high, 1400 watts, still going. This is pretty amazing. 890 watt hours used from the battery. So yeah, I mean, I should have probably set a timer when I started this test. I didn't know I was gonna keep running it until the battery capacity was fully depleted. But yeah, in retrospect, I should have probably had a timer running, honestly. But I mean, to give you an idea, I think it's been running for about like 20 minutes, I believe. I'll check on that. I'll check on like when I started this test by checking the video details. Anyways, yeah, 900 watt hours as you just saw. And for the battery right now, yeah, it's warm. It's warm. Not hot, but it's getting there. All right, and as you can see, still at high. And yeah, we're just gonna keep going. 910 watt hours going on right there. And I will do, you know, we'll come back and probably, I mean, I think we're gonna come back to the battery being fully depleted, honestly. And yeah, we'll be right back. All right, you guys, so the inverter did automatically turn off because I think the battery actually overheated and that temperature control kicked in to automatically turn off the battery. Because the battery is fairly hot in some places. Well, yeah, it's like hot over here and a bit warm in most places. So yeah, I mean, that's good to know that the battery is actually automatically able to turn off if it's too hot, because, you know, we were pulling 1400 watts while the battery is only capable of pulling out 1280 watts. Still got my cat over here bothering me. And so the test, with the test, we were able to pull out 1,020 watt hours of that 1,280 watt hour capacity. I mean, once again, I think it automatically turned off because of the temperature was too hot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the heater to low, which should pull about 850 watts. And I just want to continue with the test to see how much watt hours we're actually able to pull. And so yeah, let's see. So just gonna set it to low now. It's gonna be a much less stressful test for the battery. Oh, okay, maybe not 850. Well, the wattage is dropping right over here. Yeah, there we go. And yeah, we're just gonna keep continuing on with this heater test at low though. And yeah, we'll be right back. All right. Alright you guys, so I think we're going to end the test with the battery outputting 1100 watt hours by using this heater right over here. Because when I turn on the heater set to low, the inverter makes a beeping sound just like this. And I think that's a sign of the battery no longer having enough power to supply to the inverter and ultimately powering this heater right over here. I think the voltage might be too low, but when I looked in the manual for the inverter, that's what it said. So that's what's happening right there, honestly. I can just turn it back on just to power this electricity monitor, just to show you guys how much capacity we actually used. So yeah, 1100 watt hours of that 1280 watt hours from the Ampere Time battery. That's going to be about 86% efficiency rating by powering this heater, which we use most of the time at 1400 watts. But when we set it to low, that was about, I think, 850 watts. I mean, hey, that's pretty good. That for like a powering appliance, for powering such a high wattage appliance, that's actually a pretty good efficiency rating. You know, with MakerHawk load tester, it was different. I ran it at like 145 watts, 150 watts. So I suppose that's why we were able to use like 100% of the battery capacity from the Ampere Time battery. So yeah, I mean, there you guys have it. That is the test with the Ampere Time battery using a Renergie 2000 watt inverter and powering a Lasco heater. Alright you guys, so I did get a little carried away with that heater test by draining the entirety of the capacity for this Ampere Time battery. You know, that was a pretty cool test, but anyways, I did recharge the battery back to full power, and I've got this 1000 watt electric cooktop, and I've got a saucepan filled up with 4 cups of water, and you know, I'm just going to be testing out if we can boil this 4 cups of water in the saucepan using the Ampere Time battery and this Renergie inverter. And so yeah, let me just go ahead and switch that on real quick. All right, and so we've currently got a 970 output going on because this is a 1000 watt electric cooktop, and I did reset the kilowatt hour meter as well, so we're going to be seeing how many watt hours we're able to use until the water starts boiling. And oh, oops, forgot I was going to set a timer as well, so that's going to be a bit inaccurate now because I just started it pretty late. But yeah, with that said, I'm going to be right back, and we're going to see how long it takes for the water to boil and how much capacity we use. And alright you guys, so we're back after about 8 minutes and 41 seconds, and the water is boiling with no problems at all. You know, just goes to show that with a 1280 watt output coming from the battery, you know, it's mainly coming from the inverter, but you know, the battery has a max output of 1280 watts. And so when the water started boiling, the capacity usage was at 140. Of course, it's going up because I'm still using the electric cooktop. And as you can see, yep, water is boiling. That is definitely boiling. Let me turn that down. All right, and yeah, there we go. 140 watt hours of the 1280 watt hours. You know, you're gonna be looking at about a 10% usage of this Ampere Time battery. You know, that's practically nothing. So if you ever need it in case of an emergency, of course, you know, you need the battery, the inverter, and a cooktop. But yeah, this was just to show that the battery is able to handle it with no problems. Let me feel how the battery feels. Yeah, the battery feels completely fine. I don't feel any warmth coming from it. Yeah, there we go. And that is a review for the Ampere Time lithium iron phosphate 100 amp hour battery, you guys. I enjoyed doing a review for this battery. It was exciting. You know, it was something new I'd never done before. You know, using the inverter, the battery charger. It is a pretty cheap option to go with a 1280 watt hour deep cycle battery like this. You do have to add the cost of an inverter and a battery charger. This inverter right here, this 2000 watt inverter from Renergie, is pretty expensive, but you know, like I said before, you don't have to go for the 2000 watt inverter. This was overkill in this case. But yeah, 1280 watt hours for a power station is going to run you a lot more money. But you know, but at the same time, I don't want to be biased. You know, with a power station, you have everything put together already, and it's ready to use. And one of the reasons why I have this EcoFlow DELTA 2 is that I also want to mention that you can use a deep cycle battery like this to use as the expandable battery. With Delta 2, it does have an expandable battery slot right over here. And that's great. The Delta 2 added a feature to expand the battery capacity. However, the expandable battery from EcoFlow is pretty expensive. I think it's like $700 or $800. While you could also use an Ampere Time battery like this as an expandable battery as well, and it's going to be a lot cheaper. It's going to be a lot lower cost. And in a separate video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to completely drain the Delta 2, and I'm going to use this Ampere Time battery to recharge it. Then I'm going to drain it again. I'm going to drain the battery for the Delta 2 again and try to recharge it again using this Ampere Time battery, just to see how many full charges we're able to squeeze out from this Ampere Time battery to the Delta 2. But yeah, that will be in a separate video. I'm going to release that pretty soon. I'm probably going to work on it right now, actually. I just need to recharge this Ampere Time battery back to full power and completely drain the Delta 2. And yeah, this deep cycle battery has a lot of uses. And with that said, down in the description below, I will have a product page for this battery, as well as a review article link down in the description below. And I will see you all on the next video. All right, goodbye.